All right, you guys, so we're going to have a little conversation today about the dark goddess and really exploring some of these darker feminine archetypes and how to really begin working with them. Okay. So, before we get into all that, my name is Kaylin Rakowski. I am a feminine mentor, a somatic practitioner, energy healer, modern day priestess, whatever it is that you want to call me. But I really specialize in the feminine arts and energetics. I love to help women redefine their relationship with their power, connect to their bodies, and really tap into more of their magic and expression. So, why I want to have this conversation with you today is because what I see happening is this just glorification of the light feminine. The part of her that is the creatrix, the part of her that is the maiden, the part of her that's loving, nurturing, the slow, soft, submissive part. But really, that's only scratching the surface of the feminine. The feminine is range. She is multi-dimensionality, right? She is literally like magic on legs, and she's fucking range. And so many times we enter into our feminine embodiment journey from this almost like paradigm of residence where we're chasing what feels good, confirming or even affirming who we believe ourselves to be or what we already believe to be true, when really the dark feminine comes into our life and really invites us to explore dissonance. And I think the reason why there's such a rejection towards really working with the dark goddess and these darker archetypes is because we've been so heavily conditioned that they're bad, that they're sinful, that they're evil, that they're wrong. When really, when we're talking about the dark goddess, what we're really talking about is exploring the mystery, about exploring the unknown. Some of those more like taboo or esoteric principles of the feminine, like our spirituality, our sensuality, our sexuality, our body, our pleasure, etc. And what the dark goddess really helps us do is to begin exploring our depths, to really begin to connect with more of our feminine core and our feminine current, and yes, to really embody our feminine power. So, to me, when we're working with the dark goddess and she begins to initiate you or invite you to just explore the depths, it's really so much about looking at our lives and looking at dissonance. And what I mean by this is looking at where you place judgments, where you are resistant, where you have this almost like rejection or anti energy, because this is always illuminating a shadow and where the dark goddess is asking to be set free. This trigger, this judgment, this wound is usually pointing to somewhere that your deep feminine, that your essence is wanting to be healed, integrated, or accepted. The darkness has nothing to do with being bad or being evil, but it has so much more to do with looking at elements of ourself that we have denied, that we've suppressed, or even just rejected about ourselves. And the dark goddess is almost like this complete like dismantling and decomposition of all the false layers of identity, templates, beliefs that you have taken into self that were truly never yours to begin with. And it's about going into the darkest places, into the deepest depths to embody and uncover more of your light, more of your truth, more of your power, and more of your expression. Okay? The dark goddess doesn't care about who you think you are or what you already know. It is almost like a fire that comes into that, how do I want to put this, that will cleanse you, that will purify you and bring you back home to yourself, to your body, and to your power. So if you're someone who is allured by the feminine arts, who is wanting to tap into more of their feminine, who feels this nudge and this curiosity towards the dark feminine and these archetypes, my invitation for you today would be looking at your life and where you are experiencing judgment, where you are experiencing resistance, where you are rejecting different parts of the feminine of your fellow sisters, and really just beginning to get curious about it, moving towards it, asking you why you believe that way, where that came from. Is it even true to begin with? Because more times than not, it is always pointing to a part of yourself that is desiring to be liberated, to be set free. I know for me, when I started my feminine journey, I was so triggered by a woman's sexuality because I had such deep wounds that it wasn't safe and that it wasn't appropriate and it was sinful to have that type of relationship with my body, with my pleasure, with my Shakti, with my Eros, when truly I was being initiated into that deep remembrance because that's what I'm fucking here to do and teach. Okay? Anywhere that you have a resistance, a judgment, a rejection, is always pointing you into somewhere that your deep feminine, that your essence is asking for deeper alignment. And the more that we can get curious and move towards these things and explore our depths and explore our shadows, then we are actually able to alchemize it and transmute it into power. We can begin to accept it, to heal it, and reintegrate it back into our bodies, back into our blueprint, back into our system, so that our feminine can be set free. The dark feminine is the liberatrix. She is all about bringing the light into the darkest places and releasing them from the cages that we have self-inflicted on ourselves. It has nothing to do with being bad or being wrong, but everything to do with freedom. The feminine craves freedom. The dark goddess is literally there, like with a knife, and just cutting through all the false layers of bullshit and conditioning and trauma that you've taken in that were never yours to begin with. So if you feel like you're being called by the dark goddess, if you feel like you want to tap into more of your feminine power, your Shakti, your sexuality, I want you to look at this as an invitation to start evolving and expanding through dissonance. Start looking at some of these things that you feel ashamed of, that you're embarrassed about, that you reject, that you pretend not to know about yourself, and move towards it and get really curious about it. Because I promise you, there is a portal way into your deepest feminine expression where she is desiring to be liberated and where she is desiring to be set free. The dark goddess literally is the foundation, the cauldron of your gifts, of your power, of your expression, and just more of that feminine aliveness and current that is desiring to come out. But first, it takes you going head to head with the mystery, going into the darkness, going into the depths, because baby, that is where you will meet yourself.